Hey everybody, welcome back to some more spoilers. And I woke up to these, so Happy New Year, I guess, because we have some spoilers, some good and some mediocre. So we're going to go over the mediocre ones first, really meaning the uncommons, kind of just breeze through them really quickly. We have Frilled Death Spitter. His enraged trigger is it deals 2 damage to target opponent. That's pretty much it with that. Swaggering Corsair is just like Rigging Runner, but a lot worse because it's just a 3-mana 3/3 conditionally, or a 3-mana 2/2 unconditionally. Then we have Gleaming Barrier, probably the better of the uncommons here. It's a 2-mana 0/4 defender. When it dies, you get a treasure. Probably only sees play in a control draft, but you're not going to see much of that. Dusk Charger has the Ascent mechanic on it, but it's not very good because it's a 5-mana 3/3 unconditionally, and if you have Ascend, it's a 5-mana 5/5. So it is a horse. So there you can think about Crested Sunmare, but other than that, I wouldn't consider this card to be any good. And now this is the last uncommon, but it's actually pretty decent, especially if this is a 2-color deck. Secrets of the Golden City is a 3-mana sorcery that's 1 and 2 blue that has Ascend. If you guys don't know what Ascend is, it's basically when you cast a card, if you have 10 permanents, when you cast that card, you get the City's Blessing for the rest of the game, and you don't need to keep the 10 permanents. So, draw 2 cards, so it's basically a divination, but with 1 more blue. But if you have the City's Blessing, draw 3 cards instead. This card can be good, maybe, especially in a sealed environment. I don't know about constructed. I think Charter Course is just so much better than this. It costs 1 less blue requirement, 1 less mana in total, and it'll most of the time just draw you 2 cards. So I wouldn't consider this any replacement to any cards in any decks. We'll see though. Probably the best of the uncommons though that we got today. Now let's move to some of the rares and even mythics. We're gonna start with Awakened Amalgamation. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a 4-mana artifact creature, Golem. It says his power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control with different names. Obviously not going to see any play in Standard. I'm trying to think of Modern, possibly, of it getting play, maybe EDH. I don't know. There's just so many better artifact creatures out there. Especially in Standard. You might have like 3 out at a time, a 4-mana 3/3, even a 4-mana 4/4. I don't see being played at all. So yeah, I just don't like this card in general. If that's its only thing, Hollow One is just so much better because it's a 5-mana 4/4, but it costs less whenever you discard a card or cycle a card, and that is super strong. That means you could cheat out a 4/4 for 1 or 0 mana. So. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend, or I wouldn't, expect this to see any play in really any format. Maybe not even in draft either, because it's going to be like a 4-mana 2/2, 4-mana 3/3. So let's move on and start getting into the better stuff here. We've got Tender Shoot Dryad, a 5-mana creature Dryad with Ascend. It says at the beginning of each upkeep, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. Saplings you control have +2/+2 as long as you have the City's Blessing. The card seems good, right? Because every turn you get a 3/3. The problem is this guy is a 2/2 by himself, and he does not give himself +2/+2 if you have the City's Blessing. It just feels like all the removal in the world except Fatal Push kills this. I'm just talking Standard right now. Shock, Magma Spray, Lightning Strike, Harness Lightning. Anything, really anything. It's just, it needs a better, toughness. It's obviously not going to see any play. It's way too slow of a card. It looks like a fun card, but not something you can really build around. So yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to make a deck about this card. I don't think it's very good, but we'll see. We'll see. The fact that it's just a 5-mana 2/2 is just too slow and too bad. All right, let's get on to one of the more interesting cards that we saw today. Form of the Dinosaur. Yeah, There's just like Form of the Dragon, except this one's a little bit iffy. It looks like fun. It looks like a lot of fun. So it's 6 mana, 4 and 2 red for an enchantment. It says when Form of the Dinosaur enters the battlefield, your life total becomes 15. At the beginning of your upkeep, Form of the Dinosaur deals 15 damage to target creature an opponent controls, and that creature deals damage equal to its power to you. The problem is that this is not like Form of the Dragon, where your life resets at 5. Your life's not going to keep resetting to 15, and this is not a May ability. You have to do that creature attack ability every single turn. So if they have an electrostatic pummeler out, and you hit it, and they just pump it up and they win. Or if they have some huge creature out, they pump it up, or they don't pump it up. You just hit it with it, and then you take a whole bunch of damage. It seems like it's just a junk rare. I don't, especially since this says if they don't control any creatures, you just deal 15 damage to them. It feels like it just, I don't know. I'm not sure. I just literally woke up to these cards, so I haven't really had time to think about them. This card doesn't seem very good. The next 2 cards we're going to go over are very good. I know I've said a lot of these cards aren't very good, but obviously not going to see any competitive play. But, yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this card. I don't think it's going to be any good, even in a specific deck. Not going to be good in Commander, not going to be good in Modern, not going to be good in Standard, maybe Draft. But that's kind of it, right? So that's Form of the Dinosaur. Definitely a worse version of Form of the Dragon. Let's move on. We have 2 cards left to go over. And this card right here, I am super excited for. Journey to Eternity. Almost rhymes. Well, kind of rhymes. It's a legendary enchantment aura. 1 green and a black. It says enchant creature you control. When an enchanted creature dies, return this card to the battlefield transformed under your control. And it turns into Adzal, Cave of Eternity. A legendary land that taps for 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Or you can pay 3, a black, a green, tap this, and return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Wow, I am ready to make a deck about this already. This card seems really strong. Not only, obviously it's not going to be, meta breaking in Standard, but it seems like a fun card to play in Standard. Definitely a great card in Commander. Definitely, maybe Modern. You could probably get some cheeky stuff out with this. I just repeated, it's just like Rise from the Graves, but you don't have to play the card, and it's just tap this land instead. It just feels super, super strong, and there's got to be a way to break this card, right? This is probably the card I was most excited for when I saw it this morning. So, yeah, the problem is, though, that it's 3 mana for an enchantment aura, so it's not just an enchantment. You have to attach it to a creature, and if that creature gets exiled or they bounce it back to your hand, you lose the enchantment aura. So you have to be very wary of that. If you're playing against like Mill or something or a mono blue deck, they'll probably bounce it back to your hand. Or they just cast out the enchantment. But if you can get a cast out of their hands to hit this enchantment, then that's fine, I guess. The problem is, though, you do have to have a creature on turn 1 or 2, and then have this stick on it, and then have it somehow die. It's a lot of things that have to happen in order to flip this. It shouldn't be too hard, right? You can just leave your guy back to block and chump block and die. Or you could play like Costly Blunder or Morbid Curiosity or something like that and be able to flip this. So I am ready to see what type of decks are built around this and make my own deck built around it. And let's go to the last card we saw today. The last card we saw today was Kumana, Tyrant of Orazka. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a legendary Merfolk Shaman. 1 in green and a blue for a total of 3 mana. That says tap another untapped Merfolk you control. This becomes unblockable this turn, or can be blocked this turn, which is actually very relevant. I know that seems like one of the worst of the 3 abilities. God damn it. All right, we got Kumana, Tyrant of Orazka. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a legendary creature, Merfolk Shaman. This is a Merfolk Lord. I think this is probably the Merfolk Lord
that we've all been looking for, I guess. It's a 1 a green and a blue. That's total 3 mana. That's just like the other Merfolk Lord we got in Ixalan. But that one costs 1 and 2 blue, I believe. This says, tap another untapped Merfolk you control. Kumana, Tyrant of Orazka, cannot be blocked this turn. That's actually really relevant if you're pushing damage. Then it says, tap 3 untapped Merfolk you control to draw a card. Okay, that's like Crypt Breaker. And then it says, tap 5 untapped Merfolk you control to put a counter on each Merfolk you control. So we still have that +1/+1 counter theme going through Merfolk, so I like that. So this is basically a Planeswalker Merfolk, which is kind of cool. The problem with this that I see is that it doesn't have like hexproof, or it doesn't have any way to avoid being killed pretty much immediately. This seems like a very, very key piece in Merfolk. Obviously, you're in green and blue, so you're playing, you could sideboard things like Dive Down, Blossoming Defense, Negate, Spell Pierce, stuff like that to protect your creatures. But if this dies, your game plan is kind of ruined. But the good thing is that it's a 2/4, so it doesn't die to things like Lightning Strike or Shock or Magma Spray or Sweltering Suns or something like that. Hardest Lightning will most likely kill it because energy is busted out of... energy is just busted in general. So Hardest Lightning really kills anything. Revolted Fatal Push, got to be wary of that. But other than that, it does its pretty removal, or the cheap red and black removal pretty well. So yeah, I am kind of liking the card. I like the second ability, the Crypt Breaker ability. We all saw how powerful that is with Crypt Breaker. Merfolk, if you could just draw a whole bunch of cards, that's great. And then once you get a huge board, you can really just start tapping down your Merfolk and pumping them up and then going on from there. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a Sultai version of the Merfolk like I did last time, where I played Winding Constrictor and played a whole bunch of +1 counter themes, but maybe. I think we're going to keep it Simic, and I'm ready to play around with this guy and the other Merfolk Lord we got in Ixalan. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Those were the spoilers we got this morning, January 1st of 2018. It's like 11:30 Pacific time or 2:30 Eastern time. So if there's any more that came out later in the day, I'll probably just wrap it up in tomorrow's video too. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're excited for some of these cards that are coming out. I sure am. And I'll see you probably tomorrow for some more spoilers.